Hey everyone, welcome back. So more and more I've been hearing the term elevated basics, kind of swimming around in the whole capsule wardrobe world, in the clothing items you need. Elevated basics keeps on coming up. And I saw two great TikToks. I will leave the creators down below so you can watch that whole conversation and get the whole context. But essentially they were sort of questioning, like, what is an elevated basic anyway? Is it the price that makes it elevated? Is it the fabric? Is it the brand? Like, at the end of the day, a basic is a basic. So what is it that makes it elevated? And within those TikTok conversations, one from Shanna and one from Pig Mami, I will leave them both linked down below. The conversation goes a little bit into how the pursuit of elevated basics is like the latest pursuit in having a complete and perfect wardrobe. And I don't necessarily believe that has to be the case, because they're kind of difficult to define anyway. For me, an elevated basic can be a little bit more personal, and I think it's really just a twist or an adaptation on what you're used to wearing every day. For me, it's either an accessory or an item that I've added that just sort of kicks things up a notch, or something that just is a little bit more unusual compared to what I am used to wearing. These are things that you can certainly shop for and add in your wardrobe over time, or there's simply different adaptations and outfit combinations that you can make using the clothes that you have right now to elevate your existing outfit. For me, I think there's plenty of ways to elevate what a basic is for you in your own wardrobe, with or without shopping. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you all the ways that you can elevate your basics and how I plan to elevate some of my own basics in my wardrobe. So let's get into it. Before we get started, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Cotton. I am so excited to be working with them again. Cotton has quickly become one of my favorite clothing brands, and they're definitely a go-to of mine when it comes to well-made and sustainably minded wardrobe staples. And they're really getting me to branch out into color. Like, who is she? Everything feels really just like durable and high quality. All their garments are made of natural fibers, and their cotton is sourced from the Better Cotton Initiative, direct from small rural farms in Egypt. And if you didn't quite have anything in mind for your wardrobe, Cotton also has an array of homewares like mugs, towels, and even these super cozy 100% cotton comforters. So if you have a few people to give gifts for this season, then definitely check that out too. So this Black Friday, Cotton isn't going on sale. Instead, they're building 3 schools. This is their 6th year running, where 100% of their proceeds will be donated to support literacy programs in rural Egypt. If you were interested in adding something new to your wardrobe, consider making your purchase between November 25th and 29th, and that way you'll know that 100% of the money made from that sale will go towards that school building initiative.
And by the time this video goes up, Cotton will have released a limited edition collection on Black Friday in collaboration with Kids Worldwide. The collection will feature Cotton's signature essentials, but embroidered with art made by students from their schools. How cute is that? And Cotton was extra generous to provide my audience with a discount code, so if you use the code Christina15, you can get 15% off at Cotton even during Black Friday, but it is limited to the first 100 people.
Thank you so much to Cotton for sponsoring this video, and let's get into the elevated basics. So the first way that I am personally looking to elevate my own basics is by adding color. This I'm being very mindful with because I used to add all kinds of duplicates in my wardrobes in other colors, because if I loved it in black or white, which are my go-to colors that I wear, then surely I'm gonna love it in green, red, blue, or yellow. That in the past, that necessarily hasn't been the case for me. But this year I also had a professional color consultation, so I was able to sort of figure out what levels of saturation and what tones and hues of color work best for me. And this really helped me sort of weed out the noise when it comes to adding color to my wardrobe. I saw this blazer on Cotton's website. I absolutely loved it. I loved the way it was styled, and I learned that it's actually in a shade that is pretty okay on me because it's a little bit more deeper, more saturated in tone. And so I thought, okay, let's go for it. I may not necessarily wear this blazer as often as I wear my black one, but if I want to change it up, mix it up, and just add a different layer of interest to my outfits, then swapping out my usual basic black for that same piece in another color, that's a way that I am choosing to elevate my basic and just changing up my look without straying too far away from what I'm used to. My only thing with adding new to my wardrobe is that you still want to be able to do this really mindfully, but we still have to make efforts to actually style these pieces so that they don't become just like one-hit wonders that we thought was a good idea and that never really ended up panning out. The second way I feel like I've elevated my basics in my own wardrobe is by playing with different cuts and styles of my usual frequent flyer pieces. You guys have seen this green cropped blazer that I wear quite often now, and I think it's really fun and a really interesting piece that I can use to elevate my look and just elevate that usual basic, which is a black blazer, to something a little bit different and more interesting. This blazer really combines number 1 and number 2. It's both a color and a cut that I don't really wear that often. So when I do choose to wear it, it just feels a little bit more special. I do think a basic black blazer will elevate any outfit, but I don't know if a blazer in itself is an elevated basic. And I think when you do play around with the silhouette, the cut, the color, that's when I think it can really change an item from basic to a little bit more elevated. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the length that you play around with. It can be the collar, it can be the sleeve. It's just these little twists and modifications that I think can really take a basic garment to a little bit more elevated. I've also got this elevated collarless jacket from Cotton. I think this one is really pretty. Again, it's still a play on that basic blazer jacket for me, but this one doesn't have a collar, and it's also a little bit more cropped in silhouette. So for me, again, this jacket really takes a basic blazer that I'm so used to wearing and just bumps it up and changes it up for me. And it's just something a little novel that makes it feel more elevated and interesting. Tip number 3 is to add a belt. I don't really wear belts that often, but I'm like really getting into it nowadays. I think it really just does add a nice finishing touch, especially if it's a little bit more of a sleek and sort of smart looking belt. I think it really does bump up a look a little bit, even if you're wearing like a basic tank top and jeans. If you add a belt, I think it just adds something a little bit extra. And to me, takes an outfit that could be otherwise very basic and casual to something a little bit more bumped up. I don't think a belt is an elevated basic in itself. I think it is a basic accessory that most people can benefit from having in their wardrobe. So see what you've got, and next time you're putting an outfit together, add a belt and see how that transforms the look. Number 4 is to add a pointed toe shoe. I don't know, is it just me, but whenever I see an outfit with a pointy toe, it just automatically looks really cool and elevated. It really gives off fancy lady vibes. I don't know. Again, a shoe with a pointed toe, it's a basic to me. It's not something that I would categorize as an elevated basic, but when you put it together with an outfit, it elevates it. And I think it's just because with a pointed toe, it is just very elongating, it's sleek, it's a little bit sexy, and I think that's why it translates so well into more casual everyday looks and into a little bit more fancy formal outfits. And this would be in just comparison with like a rounded toe or even a square toe. Both of those silhouettes change the length of your leg. They change where the eye moves when you're looking from top to bottom with the outfit. I think the pointed toe is often the most flattering, especially if you're wanting to go for a more elevated look. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. So this to me would be more of a basic that elevates as opposed to an elevated basic. Next would be to look for your usual basics with an unexpected twist. This can be achieved through color and silhouette like we talked about, but it can also be in just how the garment is constructed and put together. It can be little embellishments that are added. But if you're looking to add something new and interesting into your wardrobe, choose a piece you know you love, but that just has a little bit of an unusual take on it. So let's go with this bodysuit, for example. Ooh, scandalous. I love a black t-shirt, I love a black tank top, but the cut of this bodysuit is just really unusual. I don't have anything else like it. It might be a little bit trendy, but I think it's really cool. I think if I layer a jacket over this, it adds a little bit more interest into sort of what's going on in this whole area, but it is a straight up cotton bodysuit. So it is a basic, but I think the cut, the silhouette, these little details is what makes it a little bit more elevated in my opinion. Like how cool does that look? I don't know. I have 2 elevated basics going on right now. And to me, it's a piece that could stand out on its own and still look very interesting and even conversational in some ways. Next is to find a elevated take on your favorite comfies. This to me is another take on an elevated basic in that you can take your favorite loungewear and translate it into places like the office, date night, more unexpected places. So the main thing I think that's getting elevated here is most likely the material and maybe a little bit of the construction of the garment. So take these pull-up trousers from Cotton. They are a full tilt comfy pant. They have an elastic waistband, a drawstring, they're like a wide leg, kind of a slouchy silhouette, and they're made of 100% cotton, but they aren't like a fleecy or sweat panty kind of feel at all. If anything, they feel like a business trouser to me. So this is something that I would definitely very happily pair with a blazer, with loafers, and a more office-y kind of outfit, or even wear it on date night with a pair of heels, pointed heels maybe. To me, I think it would still look really good and appropriate for the occasion. But I would probably never be able to get away with that if they were a pair of fleecy sweatpants. So this tip may or may not require going out to buy new pieces, but if you're the type of person who loves their loungewear, or you work from home a lot, so you don't really need to wear sort of businessy trousers but want to feel a little bit more put together, then I think there's a role for pieces like this that can do a little bit more double duty, and to me would be a good way to define an elevated basic in this context. And the final way that you can elevate a basic is to combine your usuals, your basics, with your unusuals, your elevated basics. So even with this outfit, I'm wearing, I'm doing it all right now, you guys. We've got the belt, we've got the interesting tank top, we've got the different color blazer, and I'm grounding all that with a pair of jeans, which is like a basic of basic. This way things don't feel too unusual, they don't feel too fancy, but they still feel bumped up a notch from my usual everyday wear. So those are some ways that you can potentially elevate your own basics in your wardrobe, either by adding a few new pieces mindfully or by strategically using the things you already have in your wardrobe. I really think it is about experimentation and playing around with combinations of things and just seeing what works. But for me, when it comes to style evolution and just elevating that, I think it's always a marriage between what you're used to and comfortable with, and very slowly and mindfully adding in new and unexpected twists. Let me know if you agree with this take on elevated basics and what an elevated basic means to you. Thank you again to Cotton for sponsoring this video. I will leave all their pieces linked down below. If you decide to purchase a piece from them on Black Friday, they will be donating 100% of the proceeds towards literacy programs in partnership with Kids Worldwide. So if you are planning on doing a little bit of shopping on Black Friday, I think that is one of the best places to park some of your money and get some beautiful and elevated basics while you're at it. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.